Good evening, and welcome to the first ever UMass Boston Athletics State of the Beacons webinar. My name is Dave Wahlberg, and I am the Assistant Director of Athletics for Sports Communication and Event Management. I, along with Sports Information Assistant Seth Orensky, will be moderating tonight's webinar. Everyone in the Athletics Department would like to welcome each of you to this evening's special event. Our goal this evening is to give you as much information about the upcoming academic and athletic year as we can as we continue to assess and work around the COVID-19 pandemic. Information for this webinar will only be about athletics. We will not be addressing any news and updates that pertain to the university. Just so everyone is aware, we are recording tonight's webinar and will be posting it to beaconsathletics.com and to our YouTube and Twitter pages. For this evening's webinar, Interim Director of Athletics, Darlene Gordon, will give the state of athletics, followed by a message from UMass Boston Chancellor, Marcelo Suarez Orozco. Also presenting on the webinar this evening are members from the athletic staff, including Stephanie Dahler, our Senior Associate Athletic Director and Senior Women Administrator, Megan Cullinane, our Assistant Athletic Director for Compliance and Student Athlete Welfare, Mary Beth Manine, our Assistant Athletic Director for Student Athlete Support Services, Gamal Abayona, our Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Operations, Ed Perkins, Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Performance and Operations, and Alexa Capione, Athletic Trainer. Following those presentations, we will begin the question and answer section. If you have anything you'd like to ask us, please do so via the question and answer function at the bottom of your screen. Also, it may help you as a viewer to change your screen to the speaker view rather than having it on the gallery view. To make that change, click on the button in the top right corner. Again, we thank you for attending today's webinar. At this time, I would like to introduce the Interim Director of Athletics, Darlene Gordon, who became just the second athletic director in UMass Boston history this past July. Darlene?
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first State of the Beacons webinar. My name is Darlene Gordon, and I am the Interim Director of Athletics. I hope everyone is staying safe during these unprecedented times. We are currently witnessing some of the most historic shaking and call for action across our country in the areas of healthcare reform, systematic racism, sexism, and police brutality. Closer to home on our UMB campus, we are working diligently to respond, investigate, and implement change across our entire campus, change that concerns our students, faculty, and staff. COVID has also brought some very serious challenges regarding our finances, and that has not been lost on our new chancellor nor myself. Those financial concerns have caused the university to furlough 47 people and not renew the contracts of over 350 faculty. These are very serious times across the globe, financially and from a healthcare perspective. Our coaches, strength and conditioning, athletic trainers, and facility staff were all affected by furloughs. As leader of this division, I know that these changes can be hard, but I am confident that we will face these challenges head on, and we will get through them, and we will be stronger and brighter at the end. In the face of all this that I have mentioned, I want to say thank you to each and every one of our student athletes, families, friends, alumni, coaches, and staff for facing these challenges head on and showing your true Beacon spirit. You stand on the shoulders of Beacons who came before you, proudly accepting the challenge to make UMass Boston better than it was with each new class of students. I feel really blessed to work with such dedicated professionals, eager and enthusiastic students, and in an environment that is responding to the call for positive change. I ask you as students to continue to go above and beyond as you reach for your full potential. You truly are champions in my eyes. Your drive has made UMass Boston one of the most recognizable athletic departments in the country. Your success in the classroom has helped us earn national recognition. When we also went remote, and this becoming a new normal for us, you have not let this stop you. And you are still reaching strongly and aggressively towards your goals of earning a 4-year degree. I know that you have seen this uphill battle, and there have probably been days that you have just wanted to walk away. But I need you to know that we can get through this. And with your family's support, you will all make us proud. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight on our first webinar and everything that you do for UMass Boston Athletics. I know that we are going to get stronger, work harder, and shine brighter as virtual students as we prepare for our return to campus. And at this time, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce our new Chancellor, Marcelo M. Suarez Arroyo, who has a special message, for all of Beaconville. Take a listen. And again, thank you. And I look forward to answering any of your questions later in the program. Go Beacons.
Good evening, Beacons. My name is Marcelo Suarez Orozco, and I am the new Chancellor at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Let me first say that through these unprecedented times, each of you have represented our university with dignity and respect. Your drive to make our athletics department one of the most recognizable in all of Division III is unmatched. I look forward to the day when I can watch each of you compete. In learning about UMass Boston, I have been extremely impressed by the success of the athletic department, not just the field, but also in the classroom. As a group, you have maintained a grade point average of 3.0 or better. I applaud each of you, your coaches and athletic staff, for this amazing achievement. As we look to this new academic year, we face tremendous challenges. And my first priority is to ensure that our students, staff, friends, and family will be safe throughout the pandemic. I know you have close-knit bonds with the coaching staff, and I am working diligently with Darlene Gordon, our Interim Director of Athletics, to create a plan for the return. When we do return to campus, I know that we will be prepared to move forward and that each of you will be given every opportunity to succeed. It is my great honor to be your Chancellor. And despite these uncertain and trying times we're facing today, I know that we will get through this pandemic together. We will come out of this as a stronger community, and we will continue to be the beacon of higher education throughout Commonwealth. Thank you. Be safe, be well, go Beacons.
Our first individual who will be speaking this afternoon is our Assistant AD for Compliance. She also is Student Athlete Welfare. That is Megan Cullinane. Megan?
Hey guys, thanks for that, Dave. Like Dave said, my name is Megan Cullinane. I do compliance and student athlete welfare. For all the returners, you guys know from a compliance standpoint, I do your continuing eligibility by tracking your credits, tracking your seasons of eligibility, and everything like that. For the students that are new to us, I do all your initial eligibility coming out of high school. I work closely with the NCAA to do all that. In regards to this year, it's going to look a little bit differently. So for all the returners, bear with us. The NCAA is being a little bit flexible with seasons of competitions and eligibility with us. But for all the new student athletes, it's not going to feel different to you guys, but obviously being online, it's going to be a little bit different. So just bear with us as we do that. We do our annual compliance meetings every year. And we will be doing those kind of once we have a better understanding of kind of how the seasons will start. So we'll touch base on all your eligibility during those meetings and those times. Being that we're remote, I just kind of try to remind you guys, it's really important that if you have any questions or you have any information that you need from me, just to send me an email. My email's on the website. It's megan.cullinane@edu. It's under the staff directory. But like I said, from a compliance standpoint, if you have any individual questions, make sure you reach out. I'm happy to go through anything with you throughout that time. And then from the student athlete welfare perspective, I oversee our student athlete advisory committee. And with that, and we also call it our SAC, so I might refer to it as that as well. But with SAC, we're going to still do it virtually this year. Our first meeting is going to be Monday next week at 6 o'clock. So those invitations went out to those student athletes yesterday. If it's something that you want to get involved in because you have a little bit of extra time, feel free to email me. We're happy to have people join in this year. We're going to continue to talk about mental health, being that we're all remote this semester. We really want to try to involve a community with all the teams and talk about mental health and kind of just the welfare around that as well. We're going to continue to work with the NCA for their diversity and inclusion workshops, and just continue kind of work our SAC virtually for this year. Our big focus from a mental health standpoint, we'll still work with Hope Happens Here, and just try to build a community around that. And then the last thing I just have for you guys, a big mode of our communication is going to be through your UMB emails. So it's just really, really important that you guys are checking those emails. Anything that I send you guys in regards to compliance paperwork, compliance meetings, it's going to go through those UMB emails. So if you have time, just throw it on your phone so it kind of gets the notification, so you make sure you check that. So that's everything that I have for you guys. Feel free to reach out to me, like I said, and I'll answer more questions later on. So thank you.
Thank you, Meg. Again, everybody's gonna say their emails at least once, if not twice, during their presentation. So please take full advantage of it. Make sure you're writing it down. If you happen to miss an email that you think you need to get a hold of, go to beaconsathletics.com. It will provide every email that every staff member is on here, and currently it's the most direct way to get a hold of any of us, and we'll respond as fast as we possibly can. Our next presenter is the one and only Mary Beth Manine.
Welcome, Beacons. My name is Mary Beth Manine, Assistant AD for Student Athletics Academic Support Services. I look forward to meeting all of you. Please email me at marybeth.manine@umb.edu for an individual appointment so I can go over your academic plan and your career plan. And if you could do this as soon as possible, it will help with your future planning. My role within the athletic department is to help all student athletes navigate the college life. I offer guidance in academic planning, career exploration, organization, and study strategy. I'm here to help you learn how to balance academics and athletics, become a self-advocate with faculty conflict resolutions, and provide you with additional academic resources available at UMB. Before I close, I would like you to take note of the following important dates this semester. First off is next Tuesday, September 15th. That's what we call the end of ad drop. All classes should be final at that point. If you are currently on a wait list, you should be off a wait list by that date. Tuesday, September 15th. It's our goal between Megan and I to make sure all student athletes are full-time, and September 15th is the deadline for that. No late ads will be given to any student after September 15th. So email me if you need help with that. The second date is Monday, November 2nd. This is, believe it or not, is when spring 2021 registration begins. I work very hard with you to make sure that this is done in a timely manner so we can work around your competition. Hopefully we'll be active at that point for spring games. So on November 2nd is when we'll start that process. The third date is November 20th. This is what we call pass-fail, course withdrawal deadline, and I can explain the procedure and how that works at a later date during our individual appointment. And finally, the last date is the exam final period, which is December 16th through that Saturday. They're going to actually give exams on Saturday through December 16th to December 21st. Those are important dates. If you are making any travel plans, please note that on your calendar. However, I always defer to your faculty syllabi for a final authorization. So I'm looking forward again to meeting all of you. I'm excited to get to know every one of you. And again, please feel free with any questions to email me at marybeth.manine@umb.edu. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, MB.
No problem.
The next two individuals are former Beacons themselves. They are the two people you will get to know probably more than any two during your athletic career. I'd like to introduce Ed Perkins and Alexa Capion.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ed Perkins. I'm here tonight with Alexa Capion. I'm in charge of sports performance and operations, and that includes the area of sports medicine and strengthening and conditioning. So Darlene's already mentioned that two of my staff have been furloughed, and so it's been really trying for all of us, for all of furloughed staff. Alexa and I are here. We're here to help all our student athletes with whatever they need. Tonight, we wanted to talk to you first about the clearance process. So the returners are a little familiar with the clearance process, and so it's been delayed. Usually it's completed by this point, or at least the majority of it has been completed. And because of everything that's going on, there's been some delays with that. We're changing from an old injury tracking software to a new injury tracking software, which will make it much easier for us to communicate with you. And so once we have the completed rosters, we will be able to email everyone directly with what we need from them. It will also become part of our COVID screening. We talked about due dates. A word that has been used almost daily over the last few months is everything is fluid. So the due dates will be fluid. Tentatively, we talked about October 15th. So if we can get the rosters fairly quickly, we've been throwing around the idea of October 15th for having everybody complete their paperwork. Now, if we get good news, we might move that date up. If we get a couple of glitches, we might move that date back. But again, once we have the rosters, we can communicate this with you directly through email. The next is just kind of, what Alexa and I are here for, and that's to take care of you. And so, the returners, we've already been making referrals for our returners to see Dr. Beasley and Dr. Kramer. We have a soccer player who's having surgery with Dr. Kramer presently. So any incoming freshmen, new student athletes, if you have any concerns at all concerning your health, you can contact Alexa or I, and we'll help you get over to Children's Hospital for the proper referral. Megan has already mentioned mental health, and so one of the projects I've been working on is just trying to partner with somebody to have a referral site that's adequately available to us. It's a little tricky because there's a lot of independent contractors. There's a lot of facilities that specialize in one area and maybe not another. But I've been here for 24 years. Alexa is a former student athlete, and she works with me now. We're really good at navigating this. And we have Dr. Beasley, who's our team physician, and he's trained in triage. So he can help facilitate any mental health issues you might have. And as you can imagine, one of the most common one right now is just anxiety. And we, as an entire staff, have experienced that. So I just want you to know that we're here for you. Our emails are on the website. Dave, you can probably just skip over the posting that we were going to put up on the web in terms of, we're just going to post our our email addresses up for you, but they're as simple as our names. Mine is ed.perkins. Alexa's is alexa.capion@umb.edu. They're on the website. A lot of the returners already have contacts for us. So we're here for you. Whatever you need, please contact us, and we'll take care of you. I'm all set, Dave.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Cappy. Next will be a fall update. The first part of the fall update will be the SDQD project. And it's quite the project if you haven't seen campus recently. And to give more detail on that is Gamal Abayona, our Associate AD for Facilities. Gamal?
How's it going, everyone? I hope everyone is well during this time. Kind of my job tonight will just be kind of give you an update of things that have been going on campus that we might have missed since we left campus since March. One of the first things that took place was we were able to get the softball field padding for the softball field. This is a part of an overall project to expand the seating in the outfields and left and right field, and it's something that we look to do going forward this year. The second thing that we were able to do for our hockey athletes and enthusiasts out there were we replaced the chillers beginning in May. In May, we had a company come in. Both chillers have been replaced. This was readily needed as the chillers that we had before were 30 plus years old. So it was something that needed to take place. And as of today, that project has reached substantial completion. So hopefully when we come back, we'll have a fresh sheet of ice and everything that needs to go in terms of the chiller project. Next, what I'm going to talk about is if you're new to campus and haven't been around campus, or if you have been around campus and you've seen the construction going on that Dave had mentioned, our SDQD project that's going on right now, there'll be a link on the frequently asked questions page that you can see the sheer construction that's going on campus. Right now, for those that are on the webinar, we're going to show a time lapse of the construction that's taken place since the beginning of the summer until now. So I will say this, for those of you that have been with us and know about the pool building, that building is officially gone. The next slide we're going to show is a rendering of the SDQD project. Basically, this is what the plaza, the new plaza will be. Some of you that are returning, you may have saw this rendering before we left campus, but this will be the final version of that rendering. Things that I would like to point out is that there will be a 35-yard by 50-yard grass field to the left of your screen, closer to the campus center, and down in the bottom right hand of your screen, there will be a basketball court. Both will be lit and both will be used for athletic and recreational use. I'm very happy about this, to have something outdoor fields and places to play back on campus. Lastly, I want to talk about, for those of you that are familiar with our facility, when you get back, our facility will look a little different. As part of this construction of the SDQD project, the athletic training room that you know and the athletic office suite that you know had to be taken down. Because of that, a new athletic suite is being built in the creative room, and a new athletic training room is being built in the lobby under study hall. So once we get back to campus, those things will be ready for us to be in and take part and to be a part of, and it'll be our new facility. We're greatly looking forward to that. So for me, if you have any questions, facilities or operations wise, you can definitely reach out to me. My email is right there. It's also on the website. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gamal. Our next presenter is Stephanie Dahler, our Senior Associate Athletic Director and Senior Women Administrator. She's going to talk about a wide variety of things that the university and the athletics department in particular is offering for this upcoming academic year.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Dahler. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Athletics and Senior Women Administrator. I do not have any cool time-lapse videos to follow, Gamal, and I don't have any cool pictures. So sorry about that. One of the things I wanted to share is usually I tell student athletes that I get to meet everyone when you're in my office because you're in trouble. And I don't get to have that speech this year, so I'm going to tailor it a little differently because I wish I could see everybody's faces tonight. But I hope you're staying well and healthy and safe during this difficult time for so many. Fall engagement plan, when the university decided that the fall semester was going to be remote, a lot of discussions were had about how to support and engage our student athletes while they are studying from someplace other than UMass Boston campus. And so for the sophomores in this group, and I don't know who you are because I can't see your faces, especially you guys are very familiar, as are the juniors, with the True Beacons program. And that is a program that Mary Beth and Megan, my colleagues that spoke before, spend a lot of time on. And it has become a program where freshmen and first-year students to UMass Boston Athletics get an opportunity to get acquainted with the campus and learn and meet people across campus that are going to be valuable to you throughout your academic career here with us. The discussions then came with, how do we expand this program? So you might hear me say True Beacons expanded, and what does that look like? So guess what? Now sophomores, juniors, and seniors, along with the first years, you are going to be a part of the True Beacons program. So what we have done over the summer, and this is, I say it's a collaborative effort. Megan and Mary Beth, Alexa, who you saw earlier, and other staff have been involved. Seth, I don't want to forget Seth, have been participating on regular calls to brainstorm and really come together to figure out what is some support programs that the sophomores, juniors, and seniors can use at that point in your academic career. And so what the programming is for the freshman is very different than what it looks like as a senior. So obviously we are looking at graduation rates and looking at, ultimately everybody walking across the stage with a UMass Boston diploma. And so that's our focus as well. So it transitions with you from year to year. This year, everything's going to be remote. And so in keeping with the remote modality for this semester, so the programs will be on Zoom, just like we are tonight. And all of those details and the dates and the times are going to be found on beaconsathletics.com, like Dave had mentioned earlier. Our sports communications team does a tremendous job of keeping not only our website, but our social media platforms updated with information. And that's how we're going to push out a lot of information to you. And so that's really important. Okay, some of that probably didn't sound super fun. So I'm going to try and add a little fun. So under the True Beacons Fall Engagement Plan is this plan to do something fun. So Seth Arinsky is in charge of fun right now. So we are going to look at having everybody smile on here. Come on, guys. Trivia night, a family feud night, game night, and we're going to see what that looks like. We don't want to overwhelm the student athletes this semester because online learning is very different. And so we are very mindful of that. But as you bond with your teams in this remote learning environment, it's also important for you as a UMass Boston student athlete to bond and meet other student athletes on other teams that would have happened should we have been on campus. But so those are some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes. Like Megan said, I'm going to tell you to check your UMB email. Don't make that a black hole, please. That's really important. That's how we're going to be communicating. Social media. So if you're not following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I probably missed one there, and Dave and Seth can finish that later. You can do so there. My email is stephanie.dollar@umb.edu. But again, like Dave said, all of our email and phone numbers are listed in the staff directory. And if you go to that website, there is a True Beacons page that will be kept up to date. So you'll get the specifics that apply to your specific grade. If you have any suggestions or ideas, please send us emails. If you have ideas for fun, let us know and we'll see what we can do to kind of try and bring people together and give you guys some outlets that, you spend a lot of time in the classroom online, so we're trying to give you some other opportunities to come together in a fun sort of way. So thanks so much. I look forward to the day I can see all of you in person, and that is it.
Awesome. Thanks, Steph. We're actually going to turn it back to Gamal real quick. He's going to talk about Student Athlete Equity Coalition And then prior to our question and answer section, I think I have the video figured out of our chancellor. I'm going to try it one more time, and then we'll roll right into question and answer. So Gamal.
How's it going, everyone? It's me again. Given the events that are going on in the world today, socially, racially, and economically, the department felt it was prudent to give our students a space, where their voices and concerns and thoughts can be heard. We're hoping that it can be a space that'll foster dialogue that can lead to action at UMass, the city of Boston, and your towns back home. The coalition will initially be open to all student athletes. However, we're asking all student athletes that want to be a part of this coalition, they have to register, and they will have to write a piece on why they want to be a part of the coalition. Part of that reason that we're asking student athletes to write a piece is because we don't want this to just be something that you can put on your resume that looks good. We actually want students that are willing to foment change. So be on the lookout for that link. It'll be on social media. It'll be on the website. It should be out soon. We're looking to bring that in at some time this fall. We look forward to working with you on that. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Gamal. So without further ado, we are going to go into the question and answer section. And like I previously stated, we welcome all questions from anyone on tonight's webinar. If we cannot get to answer your question in a timely manner, we will be answering every question off the webinar, and everything will be posted to our COVID-19 FAQ page, which is on beaconsathletics.com. We'll be tweeting it out pretty fairly as updates from the university and Darlene come in. We already have a couple of questions, so again, we really want people to be involved. Ask as many questions as you can. We're here to answer whatever we can, and we will get as many answers out to you as possible.
Okay, guys, I'm going to take the first question from the Q&A. Does the NCAA have the ability to extend eligibility for D3 athletes? The big thing here is it's really school-based and season-based. For example, the NCAA is allowing, if for any reason you do not participate in 50% of your maxed allowed games, they are not charging you with a season of eligibility. So it is something that we have been discussing in regards to kind of how we move forward from a conference standpoint, because if you do not play 50% of your season, you are not being charged a season of eligibility. So for our fall athletes, as of right now, we didn't have a fall semester. We're not going to have a fall semester. So as of right now, all those fall athletes would be getting their season of competition, not used, nothing in that regards. They have given the flexibility in regards to practices. So if our fall athletes get to practice in the spring semester, if we're on campus, then they would still not be being charged a season of eligibility because they are not participating in 50% of their competitions. The NCAA has also allowed the full-time semester. If you do not participate in 50% of your competition, you are not being charged your season, your full-time semester of eligibility either. So it's similar to the spring last year. The kids for the spring athletes did not get charged that season of competition because they didn't play. There wasn't a 50% question in there, but they didn't get charged that season of eligibility, and they got the spring semester back on their full-time clock. The returners all know that I stress that they have 10 full-time semesters to play 4 seasons of eligibility. So that's exactly where the NCAA is being a little lenient in regards to eligibility for Division III athletes.
Thank you, Megan.
How's it going, everyone? So there are a couple questions that came through on the Q&A that I'll take. One of the questions was, what is the likelihood of facilities being opened under safety protocols for this fall and winter? Given right now that we're in remote learning, all of our facilities are closed. Once, as things progress throughout the semester, that might change, but currently right now, all of our athletic facilities are closed for the time being, and that's how it'll be, at least for this semester.
Just got a question about work study for this year. The university is offering federal work study. If and when we are allowed to host events on campus, there will be a need for work study. Federal work study will have priority for jobs if and when we are allowed to return to campus. So if you have federal work study, if you think you do, make sure you check your account, talk to your parents, make sure you have all that information squared away. So that way, when it comes to the application process, we are able to put you through without any issues.
All right, so there was a question that came through about student rec. If that opens before the varsity weight room, student athletes be able to use that location. So currently right now, student rec is working on their protocols and their operations of how they're going to do things. If that does open up before the weight room, then yes, students will be able to use it. But like I said before, all athletic facilities and recreational facilities are closed right now during the fall. And then Dave, to piggyback off of that one, I'll answer the other one. Another question was, are outdoor workouts allowed for baseball? Once again, all of our facilities are closed. Obviously, if you're on campus, you can go to Moakley Park and things like that, but all of our facilities and all of the athletic facilities at BC High are closed to our student athletes.
There's a question regarding winter and spring decision. When will that be made by the university? So you may have seen the press release that went out regarding the possibility of winter sports. We are working diligently towards that. A clear decision has not been made at this point in terms of a winter or spring season. Again, we're working diligently toward that. A decision most likely will not be made regarding those two things until sometime in November. And I think that's also going to be the same for the spring semester, as when those decisions will be made.
I'm going to take the next question. The next question was in regards to full and part-time. The big thing, like I said, in regards to if you're part-time, you cannot participate in anything athletically related in the fall semester. So if you're not enrolled in 12 credits, unfortunately, we cannot do anything athletically related with you for the fall semester. And if you want to participate in athletic related activities, once we get the go ahead, you have to be enrolled in at least 12 credits at all times. The NCAA has not changed any of those eligibility requirements in regards to the 12 credits. So in order for you to be able to participate in anything like that, you would have to have at least 12 credits in order to participate in anything athletically related.
Another question coming in about webcasting. As always, we will webcast every home event as much as we possibly can. Obviously, with COVID, there's going to be some different setups now, something that maybe some fans and even student workers aren't used to, but trust us, we will be back. Seth will be leading the charge on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We will provide the same quality broadcasting, and we are going to try and do as much as we can to enhance it with people unable to arrive on campus due to different restrictions. So we're really going to hopefully put on a good show for you guys if and when we're allowed back on campus.
Okay, guys, I'll take the next question about bills, payment. Final bills have already gone out. The best place to get any information regarding questions about payment, because there could be some differentials with online versus remote, is the one-stop office. If your questions are not answered through the one-stop office, I'd encourage you to go to the financial aid office, and there's an advisor. They do an alpha split by your last name and get to answer your question through your financial aid counselor. So And if questions aren't answered at that time, rope me into the conversation and I'll make sure you get an answer. So at this point, it is important to have some finances in place. It can be a somewhat fluid process if you need to still take some loans or parents supplemental loans, which is a big part of your finances. Our university is really willing to work with a lot of different opportunities. So I will do the best I can to help you, and we can make sure that the bills get paid on time. Great question. Thank you.
So there's another question regarding teams. Are teams allowed to organize in other locations for workouts or practices? And can the strength coach or the other coaches assist with those practices even though they are furloughed? So one of the wonderful things about our department is that we put a lot of people around our student athletes, and it's for safety. And so if they are furloughed and you have the strength and conditioning coach, the other people that would be missing from that scenario are athletic trainers. So I would say the answer to that is no. We are not recommending that you host practices or workouts, even at other locations, without all of the support systems that we put around our student athletes, because your health and well-being is at our utmost importance. So I hope that answered your question.
Hey guys, this is Stephanie. I'm going to answer one of the ones that popped up in the live chat, but as you can tell, the beeping in the background, when none of us can figure out technology, right, to be able to mute that. So there was one right now. One of the questions that posed in the chat, do you happen to know of any work study opportunities that are available during our remote period? Seth just closed that question, so I don't now know what the rest of it read. So I'm just gonna go with, okay, work study. Dave spoke about it a little bit earlier. The focus right now is on federal work study. So the athletics department is reviewing opportunities for federal work study and submitting that as needed. Let me be clear is that it has to be work in this fall semester that can be done remotely. So not all of the work study jobs that we had when we were in person can be done remotely. So if you were a federal work study, not an O3, and you had a position last year, by all means, send me an email and let's have a conversation. We are putting together our list from an athletics perspective about what our needs are from that. And unfortunately, some of the areas that a lot of our student athletes participated in for work study, because we're not on campus, don't translate into a remote environment. So again, my email is stephanie.dahler@umb.edu if you have any more specific questions about work study for fall. Spring, we're not yet in spring right now. We're focused on the fall semester right now.
So I'm going to take the next question in regards to SAC. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but we're going to be remote this semester for the fall. If you've been too busy in the past and you haven't been able to get involved, being that we're remote this year, we really want to have as many people as possible take part in kind of the SAC committee. Similar years past, within the committee, we're going to break off into different groups. So the mental health group, we've done community service groups in the past, diversity and inclusion groups as well. So if you find yourself with a little bit of extra time and you want to get involved with our program, please feel free to give me an email. I'll be happy to share the meeting invite with you. If you have a teammate that you think really would be really good at it, just let them know. We're happy to have as many people as possible. Our focus this semester, especially from a mental health standpoint, is going to be around community. So we really would love to have as many people involved as much as possible.
Thanks, Meg. Stephanie again. I'm going to talk about laundry. Everybody loves to do laundry. I'm sure moms and dads might be laughing. I see Darlene snickering. There was a question about will laundry services be available? I think it was Ed who spoke about the fluidity of how the semester's going, especially with how COVID is progressing and the steps needed to bring back everybody safely. At this point, and I say that because this could change in 60 days. So the plan would be that practice uniforms and so forth would be the responsibility of the student athlete, and game uniforms would be the responsibility of our equipment staff. And I believe many of you who are UMass Boston athletes know Miles Berry, and if you are new ones, will soon get to meet him. He manages all of that. So that's a little bit about laundry. Anything more? I'm happy to answer in the FAQs.
So here's another question. Are there any sports in danger of being dropped, as we have seen nationally at other institutions where they have been dropping some sports? We are not in danger of dropping any sports here at UMass Boston. So we are good as far as that is concerned. So I'm really happy to report that. I will add, as we talk about the return of sports, there is a sports committee that is working diligently that you've heard some conversation about. And we just want to make sure that as we put these protocols together and get them approved for all of our sports is what we're working for at this point.
I'm going to take the next question here. And will our playing seasons look the same in regards to the talk about kind of the winter sports starting in January? Like I mentioned before, from an NCAA standpoint, it's going to look different this year. For the fall and spring student athletes who used to have traditional and non-traditional segments, and for the winters that just had a traditional segment, those are not going to exist this year. Its focus this year is going to be on basically 114 days that you're going to be able to make up your playing and practice season. So it's going to be basically, once we get the go ahead, we're going to work with our coaches to set up a calendar so that you guys can do your practices and games and everything like that. And that's going to be kind of your traditional playing season. There won't be a non-traditional and traditional. So it gives a little bit of flexibility for those fall sports that we weren't able to host in the fall to have more than just like possibly 5 weeks if we get cleared for practices in the spring. And same thing for the spring sports, if we have to bring them back earlier, if we get the approval to have them kind of do conditioning and stuff like that so they're comfortable returning to their play. For winter sport athlete, they're working on redoing the schedules for starting in January. Again, that kind of goes back to once we get the approval of when we can work, practice and everything like that, we'll then work with the conference for your scheduling. But if you participate in less than 50% of your maximum competition, then you won't be charged a season of eligibility.
Okay, I have a question here. When is the last day to make any changes to my schedule? I think I said this earlier. It's September 15th, Tuesday. Be careful as you look at your schedule. You will see that the online classes, those that are not synchronized, that have no time next to them, start on the 8th and some start on the 11th. So that means Friday. So you have like just one day to check out this class for the online courses. So it's a little bit tricky, but I like to have all my athletes wrapped up on Tuesday the 15th. So online courses are a little different. Their schedule's a little different, but again, I think September 15th is a good date to have in mind, to have all your classes locked in, minimum of 12, credits. That's 4 classes, 5, same price. You pay the same price from 12 credits to 15. So I encourage you to email me at marybeth.manine@umb.edu with any of your individual questions, and I can answer them offline. But there will be no and again, no wait list will be changes, no changes from the wait list after the 15th.
How's it going, everyone? So just to answer a question that came up in the Q&A, my pin with clothes on it is still in the cage. Is there any way I can get it? So currently right now, the equipment room is actually under construction as well. So all of the stuff has been bagged and tagged and placed away in storage. So you won't be able to get it right now. But obviously once we're back up and running and full operational, you will be able to get your stuff. And for those of you that we do use BC High as our home field for, men's and women's soccer, lacrosse, and tennis. We're working with BC High currently right now, hopefully for our spring season and our spring sports that we'll be able to be back out there, as well as other avenues of places where we might be able to play, given the fluidity of everything that's going on right now in the world.
Hey everyone, there's a question in the chat that says, can you address the hiring process for coaches / and the likelihood of a coach assignment during the remote period, attention to women's basketball? Yes, I can share with you and share with the group that Human Resources is very aware of the openings that we have for coaches. And so we are working through the paperwork, if you will, to start that hiring process specifically for women's basketball, because that season starts for everybody. The winter season is upon us, if we will. And so there's a sensitivity to time with that one. So we are definitely, I can assure you that that is a conversation that is had on a regular basis, and the paperwork is being drafted and has been reviewed and being discussed with HR on multiple occasions. So once we have more defined timeline as to, for example, when the job would post, we can share that. At this time, all I can tell you is that it's in the works, and we are hopeful and we understand the critical nature of that given the times that we are in with the season around the corner.
There was a budget question, and it's regarding whether or not the budget will cut teams regarding equipment or anything else. So in terms of the budget at this point, the entire university is reviewing our finances. And as a state institution, we do receive state appropriations. Those state appropriations have been bogged down at this point, and we won't have a clear information about what those cuts will happen from the state level until later in the month. So at this point, we're just kind of playing everything close to the vest. And then our goal again is always to be able to provide the best opportunities for our student athletes. So we will evaluate that once the budgets have actually been confirmed.
Thank you, Darlene. We have about 4 minutes left in tonight's webinar. So if you have any last minute questions, get them in now. Again, if you have further questions following the conclusion of the webinar, please feel free to email each of us directly. That way it's a better way to answer said questions, and then we will share it as a group. And then everything will end up either on our COVID FAQ page or on any other Q&A pages that we may develop throughout the fall, winter, and spring seasons. But again, do not hesitate to ask us anything. Email is the only way right now for most of us to get a hold of you. So I open it up for the next couple more minutes to some last remaining questions, and then we'll close it out with Darlene.
I can take this question. Physicals right now, they're going to be due October 15th. That's fluid as everything else is. So as of right now, October 15th, I'm going to send out an email next week with all of the information that all student athletes will need to create their sportswear account. So stay tuned for that.
So a question just came through on the thread. Is anything happening with Monin Park? Is it going to be used at all? So Monin Park is a part of our athletic facility. So currently right now in the fall, it will not be used. If we do have a spring season, obviously Monin Park will be in use for our varsity baseball team.
Well, everyone, I want to thank, number one, everyone that's on this call for participating, asking questions, and wanting to be engaged. I absolutely appreciate it. I want to thank you for taking the time to do that. I want to thank my staff for getting on, and I want you guys to know that every last one of us on this webinar are available to you. So if you have questions, concerns, our emails are absolutely on the website. Please reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. We appreciate your time. And thank you very much. The Q&A portion will be on the Beacons Athletic website. And if you have any other questions, feel free to answer or to reach out so that we can answer them. Thanks, everybody. Go Beacons.